I have totally lost track of time. My name is Werner Puchert, and this is Finding Frequency. So I cannot tell you what day or number day of isolation this is. I just know that we are still in the same space we were 3-4 weeks ago. Changes has been made. We can go to parks now. We have to exit the building wearing masks, and things like hairdressers and all those kind of amenities aren't open yet. Some would argue that I need a haircut. I would say that I am indeed growing my hair. I'm trying to recapture my former glories. And hey, why not? Change is as good as a holiday. Damn it, I need a holiday. So I had most of the house to myself because my wife decided to take up the let's go to the park effect by going to the little forest house that they own. So my father-in-law has one or two little places that he's bought over the years, and one of these is a little hut somewhere isolated in a forest just outside Warsaw. Not one of my favorite places, but my wife really loves it. And from time to time, I feel a little bit guilty that I'm less excited going there. But it gives her a time to, I think, also take a little break from me. So, hey, it's a win-win, I guess. Now, the other thing that I wanted to observe or talk about is that I feel a little bit isolated in the sense of what's going on in the realities of the virus. And that could be dangerous because you can get a little bit lax. And I feel that happening to me because, I'm looking outside and I really want to get back to a coffee shop. But the strange thing that's also happened, and I don't know if I've spoken about this before, is that I don't really have a grasp on what's happening in the news. So here locally, especially in Europe, and I should probably make a better attempt, but the news that I get exposed to is usually from Poland, and it's in Polish. And then my wife has to translate because my understanding is rather limited, even though I've been trying to work much harder on that. And it's just not, it's a language that I really would love to be able to speak, but I don't know if I'll ever get there, to be honest. And it's not just me being negative. It just bends my brain. Then I get sucked into international news. And here, two things are currently happening to me. So in the first reason I'm talking about this is that I've really been stuck into doing my administration and doing some work for a client today. And it really went well. I got to focus, got some really cool stuff done. And this client is actually, their headquarters is in New York. So not only do I have a great bunch of friends who resides in the United States, which in itself is a gigantic country, but then I have a client in the United States. And then I also get exposed mostly to news from the United States. And that's quite strange because, I've got Italy and Spain relatively just down the road. So I kind of feel like an American in Poland. Go figure. But the reason I'm bringing that up is that as I'm sitting here in Poland, blissfully unexposed to the realities, when I dial into phone calls with my client, the reality really kicks in, and I am in an instance transported to a place where the virus is very real and where people know people who've been affected by this dreaded pestilence. And it's strange. It's this kind of balance of different things that are happening to me. On the one side, everybody wants to bugger off to some lake to go hang out in the sun as I knock my water over. And then on the other side, I feel that there's this intense fear and focus on the realities of this pandemic, which is kind of a strange position for me to be in. So I thought I'd share that, especially in the light of some of the things that came out of the news today. I really feel for my American friends because, there is not much wisdom flowing from the leadership. Although it does seem that a lot of the governors in the United States are taking the reins and making things happen. So I'm really rooting for my friends in the United States. And of course, here in Europe, we still have a long way to go. We have some of the parks open here in Poland. We are allowed to now go out as long as we mask up for essential things. But time will tell if they will loosen the grip a little bit more and allow us to get some semblance of normality. And you know what that normality is, the new normal, if we'll be getting that back. And then something I haven't spoken about, one of my dear friends, his wife is a medical practitioner. She's active here in Poland. I can't say too much about it, but when I speak to him, I definitely get a sense of dread, uncomfortableness, fear. Now, I can't comment and say that fear is related to anything that's happening in Poland or just the real intense and I don't know how to describe it. Like when someone you love is in danger, you don't want that situation. So I sense that from him, and that also reminds me that I have family members. Even though my friend's fiance feels like a family member too, I have 2 more family members who are currently active in the medical space, helping people. The one is a doctor and the other one is a occupational therapist. They both work very close to where things are happening in South Africa. And I want to end the show today. It sounds so official when I say show, but I want to end today's episode with a small clip that I received from my uncle. And my uncle will be featured, I think, with some feedback. As you know, I've been publishing some feedback from my friends across the globe, and trust me, there's more coming, and I'm super excited. And one of those is some insights from one of my uncles who I respect so much. And what I do want to play for you today is a sound clip from East London in the evening. Now, what they do, so I have to explain. So if you ever saw the Soccer World Cup in South Africa, one of the biggest annoyances that people complain about internationally is the sound of the vuvuzela. Now, you will have to go and Google and listen to the vuvuzela sound. It's basically an African horn that people usually blow at football tournaments, and the noise is deafening. And in fact, as a South African, I did bring my vuvuzela from South Africa to Poland, and from time to time, when no one expects it, I will whip it out and just blurt out a little bit of a African noise just to feel like I'm at home. In fact, let me quickly whip out the vuvuzela and give you a little bit of a noise so you can hear what an actual South African vuvuzela sounds like. I'm actually surprised my son didn't steal it because he loves this thing. So stand back, people. It's going to happen. Now, I challenge you to do better than that. I just hope my microphone still functions. Now, the reason I'm talking about the vuvuzela and the noise it makes is that in the evenings in East London, on the wild coast of South Africa, in the early evenings, people go outside of their houses and they get their vuvuzelas and anything else that makes a noise, and they make as much noise as possible. And that noise is purely made to send love, thanks, and appreciation for the medical staff out there risking their lives to look after people in this really tough time. So I'm going to play out with that noise, and I want you to spare a thought for those people who are on the front lines saving our lives. I tip my hat and I blow my vuvuzela to you.